Welcome to the channel, everyone. Got my 1500 in the shop today. I'm going to be installing a KFI Snowplow. Actually, there's really nothing to install on the Ranger because the Ranger already has plow mounts integrated into the bumper, same as the Ranger 1000. I'll kind of show you once we get the plow up to the machine. I'll show you how it hooks on. But yeah, there's nothing to really add to the Ranger. It's just I gotta assemble the plow here. So this is a KFI. This is the KFI ProPoly. If you guys remember, if you watched me before, I had a KFI, the steel plow, on my Ranger 6x6, and then I moved that to my Ranger 1000 when I got that. I sold it with the machine, so I have no plow now. I was happy with that plow, so I picked up this one. Now this is like I said, this is the Poly or ProPoly. So it's like a plastic. It's got a plastic shield, steel frame. This plow is taller than the steel one. I know a lot of people think poly, they think it's lighter than the steel blade. But from what I understand, it's actually heavier than the steel blade. I think the reason they use the poly is to actually get the blade taller, because this, I believe, is the tallest blade that I could find for a UTV. So it's pretty tall. I think it's like 21 inches tall. And then if you add the flap that they want you to add, it's like 27 inches tall. I'm going to do it a different way. But anyway, a very tall snowplow for a UTV, which is nice. It's going to fit this 1500 better than the shorter plow, I think. So I got a few different pieces here. I don't know if they offer a kit yet for the 1500. I actually had to order all these pieces separately and put them together. But like I said, the Ranger has plow mounts already in the bumper. These things right here. That's what the plow is going to hook to. Now that's actually for Polaris's Glacier plow, but all the other companies are using those same mounts for their snow plow. It's very, very easy, very good idea to actually incorporate plow mounts into the bumper. That way you ain't got to buy something. So good on Polaris for that. But like I said, there's a few different components here. You got to buy the push rails or the push tubes right here. I'll show you a picture of it separately from this other piece. But you got to buy the push tubes. These are the UTV ones. They are also square tubing. They have discontinued the round tubing. I guess people were having trouble. Actually, I never had trouble. I had the round tube ones, never had trouble. But I guess some of them were kind of twisting under a lot of pressure. So good on KFI for maybe seeing a problem and fixing it, changing the design and fixing the problem that they had. The second piece in this this rail system here is this piece right here. And again, I'll show you a separate picture of it because I have it all bolted on already. Now this is the Glacier the Polaris tall Glacier adapter, and they're calling this that because it goes to the Glacier plow mounts that are already in the bumper of the Ranger. And it's tall because the Ranger 1500 is taller than like the 1000. So this angles downward. Usually it would just go straight out with the 1000, but the angle's down. You also get some gussets right here that you bolt in. This looks very, very strong setup. Very impressed with this. But yeah, this is where, right here is where this piece locks onto the tube on the bumper right here. You got these quick pins here that pop out. Very easy. I'll show you when I hook it up here. But I got it all bolted on. The directions are very good at showing you what bolts you need and stuff like that. So if you're mechanically inclined just a little bit, you should be able to figure that out. But as far as I can tell, the 1500, the Ranger 1500 mount is the same as the Ranger 1000. So if you have a snowplow that's on your Ranger 1000, it will go on the 1500. The problem is the geometry, because the 1500 is higher up, the geometry is going to be messed up on the plow. You're going to get abnormal wear on your cutting edge and stuff like that. It's just not going to, it's not going to work right. The plows are designed to sit at a certain angle. So you got, once you raise it, you know, once your mount is higher, you got to try to fix that. So this mount actually might be like for 1000 with tracks or something like that. They might have already had this mount, and they've added it for the 1500. But it is here. It is right here. I'll give you the part number is 10630. So that's that adapter right there. Now, I could unbolt this, and with the plow tubes, you get these pieces right here, which are the standard. These are the standard mounts. And I actually, that's the mount I have on my Ranger 6x6, is this mount. So I could unbolt this Glacier plow adapter. I could bolt these pieces on here. Then you use these pins right here, 2 pins, and I could use this plow on my Ranger 6x6. But you have to unbolt all this stuff and bolt them brackets on. But it is nice that if I sold the 1500 and got a Can-Am or whatever, all I got to do is get the mounts for the Can-Am, unbolt the Glacier, bolt the other mounts on, and it should run. You should be able to run it with any machine. So this is the 72-inch. They have several different widths, but this is the 72-inch. Comes with a flap, rubber flap for the top. Also, the Poly Pro comes with the guides, markers for the ends. I've got an upgrade I'm going to be doing on that, so I'm not going to be using them, but the Poly Pro does come with some extra stuff versus the steel plow. So I've done enough talking here. I got to get to assembling this. I'm going to put the blade on the push tubes now. You can see there's some springs, some bolts, some bushings, and actually this is for the winch to raise the plow up and down. But I've got an upgrade for that as well. So yeah, I am going to be bolting this on, but not to actually raise the plow up. It's just for kind of hooking it up. Easy hookup. But anyway, I'm going to get to assembling this, give you a few tips. Basically, it's the same as my other. You assemble it the same way I assembled the other KFI plow. I did a video on that. But yeah, I got to get to putting this together. Okay guys, so we're going to start the assembly now, and I'm sorry for being so long-winded on this, but there seems to be a lot of, or there's lack of information on the 1500. So I'm just trying to help everybody out with some information. So now we're going to install the blade on the push tubes. You got your big carriage bolt. It's going to go in from the inside, and it's going to get bolted on. You've got this bushing, and there's a taper. You can see the taper on this side. That goes inside. The taper goes inside. You got a washer, and you got your big nylon lock nut. I'm going to repeat that on the other side. I'm actually going to raise the front of this up a little bit so I can get my bushings to sit flat in here. This actually looks like a 15/16. Now I'm going to install the springs. Springs actually hook onto this right here. And you've got eye bolt that hooks onto your spring. That's actually going to bolt onto the plow. You got a nut and a washer there. Install the washer and a nut. Then we're going to do the same on the other side. I'm going to take the spring and hook it on the same way I did the other one. This is where a person could use a second set of hands here. Okay, so the next step is you got to install these Allen headed bolts. And you got to install them right here. I'll show you once I get it on, because right now I got to get it on. So they go in them bolts, and they basically, what they do is they set your pitch of your blade, so you can set that to what you want. If you want a more aggressive angle or not so much of an aggressive angle, and that's actually, a lot of that is preference. Okay, I'm going to show you them bolts, them Allen bolts I just installed right here. And you can see there's different holes that you can use that'll change the angle of your blade. See, this is the inside. You can see there's different holes. I put it in the hole that KFI said it's the default hole, I guess they called it. So that's what I went with. Again, that's kind of preference. You want more of an attack angle to kind of scrape better. If you're always on like pavement or something, you might want it to kind of be a little more aggressive. If you're on dirt and stuff like that, you might not want it that aggressive. I believe that default is kind of right in the middle. So I believe that's what I did with my other one. I was happy with it. I just tightened up my spring bolts right here. It's just, you just double nut them. And again, tightening those up. I don't know, I set them where I set them there. I just tightened them up a little bit. They are stretched out a little bit here. But again, that's kind of a preference thing. If you tighten them up and you go out and you're constantly tripping the blade, you might want to tighten them up a little bit. If you can't get it to trip and you hit something real hard, it doesn't trip easy, you know, you might want to loosen them up a little bit. So also installed the winch mount right here, and that's gonna, like I said, I'm not going to use that to raise and lower the plow. I got something else, but I'm going to use that probably to kind of lift the blade up and help me install this on the Ranger when I hook it up. It'll get the, you know, pick the weight up for me. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now, and probably got to do the shoes next. It's just 2 bolts down here. Okay, so I'm going to install the shoe and bracket on the blade here. This is already going to be a long video, so I might as well show you everything here. So here's the brackets that come with them. There's a little notch on one end that goes down, so remember that. You get a bag of hardware here. You get a bunch of spacers. You get 2 of these. Then you get a whole bunch of washers that you're going to use to set your plow shoe. And again, that's going to be preference. Do you want the shoes down and your blade up off the ground to start with when the ground is soft, and then once it freezes over, then you can bring your shoes up and let your blade really cut? Or if you want to leave them down or not run them at all, whatever you want to do, it's kind of a preference thing. But I'm going to install the mounts here, and they have 2 different size bolts come in the kit. The shorter ones are for the steel blades. The longer ones here are for the poly blade. So I'm going to install my bracket with the notch facing down. This first bolt is a little tough to get in there because you gotta do this all from the top side. And you might have to if you don't have a wrench like this, kind of like a gooseneck wrench, you might have to actually install this bottom one first, tighten it up, and then put the top one in. But this wrench allows me to do both of them, so So anyway, get them bolts tight. Then you got to install your spacers, and again, this is all preference, how you want to set these spacers up. These rubber ones are hard to get on there. That's going to be fun if you want to change that in the cold, but I don't know why them are so tight. But I'm just going to copy the other side. You just put so many underneath, so many on top. Then you take this funny clip here. I know it looks complicated, but it really isn't. You just raise this up over top and then hook the loop in. Like so. Yeah, I'll have to get the blade setting down, probably adjust it once I get it mounted up to the Ranger. Okay, so I'm going to install the flap, and it comes in two pieces. You got the flap and you got this little steel angle piece, and there's actually two ways to mount it. You can have the angle piece flipped around, which allows the rubber flap to go upward, and that will give you, it gives you kind of more height to the plow. I've never been a fan of that. I'd rather have the flap go down a little bit. So I've heard a lot of people breaking these bolts, so I'll just be easy on them. I'm not showing the side markers, but I got a little something extra for this that I'm going to install, so I don't need those plow markers. But stay tuned for that. Okay guys, so I kind of want to give you a visual here of what happens as you change how high the plow mounts on your machine. So I'm going to go over to the mount and I'm just going to raise it up and down. And you can see what happens when you change where you're mounting your plow. So that's why you want the right mount to get the geometry of the plow all working correctly, so the plow can work the way it was intended. So hopefully that helps clear that up. So I'm going to be installing one more thing on this plow before I hook it up to my Ranger, and it's this KFI Plow tension relief arm. They're calling it a plow lever lift, I guess, on the instructions here. But basically this couple brackets, this bracket here, this bracket here, it's going to get bolted right here, right in this spot. You're going to take these 4 carriage bolts out right here, these 4, and I'm going to bolt that up there. And then this arm here is going to go on here, and you're going to actually lift from this arm here. You're going to lift the plow with that, and what that's going to do is it's going to give your winch a straight shot, or a straighter shot to the plow lift, and that's supposed to help with the cable and stuff like that, not wear it out. So I'm going to install this because it's just 4 bolts, and then I'll get it installed, show you what it looks like, and then we'll get the plow hooked up. Okay, so these are the bolts I just took out. You got to replace them with longer bolts. So there's the bracket that I just installed. Now I got to get this bracket. I'm going to put it right here like so, and you're supposed to install this as close to the blade as possible. So I'm probably just going to put it straight up and down, if it'll go straight up and down like so, with the 2 longer bolts. Them longer bolts right there, I'm going to use them. Okay, so there's the lift arm in place. I got the hitch pin right here, goes in there. You put it, it's adjustable. There's quite a few holes there. So I don't know, we'll see how this works out. It's supposed to, like I say, help out with the angle, or help out with the winch not being pulled downward. It's going to pull back like it's intended to do. But we'll see, I guess. Now get her hooked up, see how she does. Too far forward. So hopefully you saw that go on. I do see a problem here. This is hitting my bumper a little bit. But other than that, might have to bend that bumper in a little bit right there. Do the same thing to the other side. Yeah, this side's tight too. And I got it slid all the way over. I don't like how that is. It's like bunched up there. I need to re-roll that. Okay, so I figured this might happen because I got a bigger hook. This probably ain't gonna work out. So yeah, pull my pin here. Pull my fancy hook out of here. I wonder if that pin would go through. It will. This pin will go right through my winch cable. So I don't even need Okay, so there she is connected. That's how all that looks. I will say that my winch cable just buried itself. I don't know if you can see that or not. It buried itself inside the other rope. I guess it's nylon rope. It ain't winch cable. But it buried itself in there. But yeah, I'm going to adjust the blade. I'm going to adjust the angle. I'm going to bring it forward just a tad bit. So I got to adjust them Allen head bolts. I'll have to unhook it and adjust that when I'm done here. But yeah, it's on there. Okay, so I got this thing adjusted the way I want. I actually went out, not sure you're going to be able to see that or not, but I went out and I tightened up my winch. So I let all the cable out, or the rope, and then I actually hooked to the steel pillar on the shop there, that's the protectors, that so you don't run into the building. I hooked to that, and I held the brake and I run my winch in. So I got my winch wrapped real nice and tight. I don't know why this isn't done from the factory. Your winch cable or rope has to be tight, otherwise it's going to bury itself like mine did in the rope, and it's going to get stuck. It's going to wreck the other rope that you got in there. It's not a good situation. So I tightened up my winch there. It does not go into the rope anymore. It stays on top. So it actually works the plow better. But I adjusted the plow. I tipped it forward just a little bit. I adjusted my shoes. And actually, I think, you see where it's at. I think I might add 1 or 2 washers maybe. But yeah, I'll have to see kind of maybe what this does. If it's getting too aggressive, I might have to add some washers to the shoes. But yeah, I think this lever lift thing, I think it's going to work out. At first I thought it was kind of really making the winch work hard, but I think that was all due to the winch not being wrapped tight. But I'm using the top hole on there. That's supposed to, again, give this kind of a straight shot. I still see it kind of flattening out. It's kind of flattening out the rope there, so I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I'll probably do an update. I don't know how many snowfalls we're going to get. We've only gotten 2 this year. So, you know, I'm not sure how many more we're going to get. It ain't looking good. But I got my fingers kind of crossed. Hoping we get something so I can test this out. But that's going to do it for this one, guys. Got it assembled on the machine. I know I don't have the side markers on here. I'm going to do something different. And I also got another accessory for the plow, but that'll be the next video. So hopefully you enjoyed this one. And hopefully this will help some people out that have questions about the 1500 and plow mounts and stuff like that. So I guess, guys, I'll see you.